Voice print identification.
Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're doing interviews again. It's good. And let's see, we got Dana B in here, and I also seen that Linda's Prepper Kitchen already subscribed. That's good. So if you can, guys, head over to her channel. You won't be disappointed at all. She has some great recipes and stuff, and actually some good ideas for gardening too. So let's go ahead and get started. Why don't you tell everybody about your channel a little bit?
Okay. Well, first off, Charles, thank you for inviting me. And I'm pretty nervous about this. I think there's a few of my subscribers I see in the chat right now, and they already know that I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. So here I am with a camera right there, and I know that I'm not going to be able to edit out all my bloopers. And so I apologize in advance if I say so a lot. I say so a lot. I have to edit that out a lot. But okay, my name's Adrienne. My husband's name is John, and our channel name is Hamilton Homestead. And we're a retired couple. We live on a 2-acre homestead that we just moved to this last Memorial weekend. So we haven't been here quite a year. And we're in South Dakota. And we focus on self-sufficiency and simple living and, kind of making the most of what God has blessed us with. And we share everything from home cooking to food preservation and DIY projects. And I love gardening, so I'm very anxious for that season to kick off. And we believe in intentional living and stewardship of what we've been gifted and helping others and inspiring others. So, whether that's helping someone stretch a grocery budget or learn a new skill like cheese making or how to make a shelf or how to build a greenhouse or something like that. That's kind of what our channel is about. And that's what you'll see on our channel.
Okay. Have you always been in South Dakota, or you just moved to South Dakota?
Well, I was raised in Oregon, moved here in my early 20s. So definitely South Dakota is home. And my husband was born in South Dakota.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I actually went to Job Corps in South Dakota.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Nemo, South Dakota.
Nemo, South Dakota. Yeah, not far from where we're at.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, that's on the western, in the Black Hills.
Yep. I remember Sturgis. You're not allowed, we weren't allowed to leave the area, but some of us did. And I actually went cross country instead of following the road. I was the only one that actually got to Sturgis. So and that, for being a teenager, it was a big eye opener.
Oh, bet it was. Yeah,
especially back then.
Especially back then, that was pretty hardcore. And the hills are so beautiful for bike riding.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. If it didn't snow,
right,
that would be the perfect place.
Yeah,
snow.
Rapid City is considered the banana belt of the area, and yet last night our low was minus 17, and tonight we're expected to get to minus 20. So yes, we do have frigid weather and blizzards and snow, but I love the 4 seasons. And and while this time of the year is difficult, here we are in February, and all we want is spring to get here. But I do love the 4 seasons. So
now your garden season, it's not as much as like even for me.
Yes, exactly. Well, I don't know. I think we have about 140 to 145 days of growing season.
Okay.
And we're in a zone 5B. And so, yeah, it's a short growing season. But I have a greenhouse where I can get things started early, and that helps a lot. It extends my season a bit. And I've learned to choose varieties and plants that are cold season. I mean, why fight it? You need to just go with what will do well. And
you're already used to it, being in that area.
Right.
You're already used to it.
Yep.
If somebody like, down south and moves up there, that's a big shock for a gardener.
That would be a big shock for sure.
You're trying to grow okra and stuff like that up there.
Don't even try. Yep.
Yeah. It'd be a learning experience.
Yes, it is. And it's taken me years to refine how I do it. And I guess every gardener goes through that. You never arrive at being the master gardener. You are always learning, and the weather plays a big part in that. You have to be prepared for what Mother Nature is going to send or could send.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll learn. You'll learn to do something different the next year.
Be more prepared. Yeah. Or whatever.
Yeah. It's just like I started growing in buckets, and I thought, well, I'll just put a bunch of compost down at the bottom. And because my thinking was the roots will go straight down to that compost and feed on it. But the only thing is, when I watered it, it just right out the bottom.
Right. It washed out.
Yeah. So I had a tough time with buckets, not last year, but the year before. And last year I just used all soil, and my peppers did wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, peppers love a bucket or a pot. Yeah, they love that drainage. They don't want to they don't want wet feet, they say, So yeah, peppers are perfect for a bucket.
Yeah. Now, I want to jump over to some of your cooking and baking and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of that.
One of my favorites is, because we were kind of talking about it backstage, was you actually cook. You don't dump a bunch of cans and bags and stuff in a pot and say, hey, look what I created.
Exactly.
And one of the things many people don't know this is we've only been using like measuring cups and stuff for maybe 100 years.
Right.
It's hard to believe that they made stuff without a measuring cup and stuff.
That's because they got to watch grandma do it.
Yeah.
And they got to watch mom do it. They helped in the kitchen. And so, I have a collection of recipe card holders that are very old, family recipes. And it calls for a sifter full of that, or a pinch of this, or a very hot oven.
A handful.
Yeah. But yes, when you got to watch and help with the cooking process, really that's all you needed. Oh yeah, I need flour, and I need some shortening, and I need some sugar, and vintage recipes right now seem to be very, very popular, where you're just a simple cooking method, not too many ingredients, healthy ingredients, and you don't want to spend all evening in the kitchen. We've all got other things to do. So
and you made the oatmeal bread, and you didn't have rolled oats, or still was it rolled oats?
Well, it called for rolled oats.
Yeah.
And I didn't have them, but I just used the oats that I have on hand, and it worked fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And you didn't use shortening, you used butter.
No shortening. No
Which
shortening.
I would rather use butter anyway, because butter makes everything. It's like bacon. If you can substitute bacon into something, it tastes better.
You bet. It's all about the butter and the bacon.
But what are some of the older recipes that you've made videos of that you like the best?
Well, I just started this. It was real interesting. I went over to visit my neighbor, like right across the way from me, and she had been going through her collection of her mother's cookbooks, and she loaned me a couple. And I brought them home, and I didn't really think I was going to do much with them, but I sat down in my chair and started thumbing through those, and it was like, okay, I've got to try these. So I made the oatmeal bread, I made the depression casserole, you know, and the dehydrated eggs kind of falls in there. But I have got a video done for the eggs planked, and
Oh,
that's a
I've
good
seen
one.
that. I was
That's
wondering
gonna
about
be a
that.
good one. I hope to have that out next week, but I
Yeah,
might
that
have
was
to continue
interesting.
with this series.
Yeah. A lot of times, because I like looking at the old cookbooks, and I've got some that, you know, didn't have measurements in it. And that's almost how you can tell the age of a book too,
Right, right.
um, because they don't have measurements.
Yeah.
One said put a coffee cup of this in there, and like, oh, wait a minute, what if I got big coffee cups?
Yeah, and in the front of this modern Priscilla cookbook, there's quite a few sections that help the cook out, and one of them is called "This for That." So if the recipe calls for this and you don't have it, here's a substitute. Because
Oh,
that's what you had to do. You know,
that's kind of
Safeway
cool.
wasn't right down on the corner. You just had to, and that was a real interesting section to read. Really fun to look through these older cookbooks.
Yeah, I bet. Um, Another one I seen that. Oh, what was it? Let me look again. The steak one, the tri
Oh,
tip, tri
the
tip.
tri-tip that
Yeah,
you know, I did that was one of my earliest videos, and that thing is still racking up views every 48 hours or whatever yeah, very popular.
that's good. Yeah, that's one of the first ones it usually pops up when you go to the channel. And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
that looks so good.
I think that's probably my best video so far as performance. But these last three videos that I did, they really, I had so much fun doing them. And right off the bat, right out of the gate, they took off. And so I kind of feel like they're my winners
Yeah.
right now. But um, yeah.
So what made you actually start your channel?
Okay. Well, a few years ago, I decided I wanted to learn how to debone a turkey and make a turkey roast. And on my second or third one, I started taking pictures of doing it. And I mean, I was having so much fun, and I was getting pretty good at it. And so I started taking pictures and kind of chronicling my what I was learning and how to do this. And I thought it was such a great idea because you get all the white meat, you get all the dark meat, you get the bones out of there, you make your broth, and it doesn't take up room in the oven and whatever. So I started posting that on Facebook, and I was getting comments that you guys need to do a YouTube channel. You guys do a lot of fun stuff, and people would enjoy this. And I kind of I didn't do anything with it for a couple of years, and then one day I just thought, you know what? I'm going to make sauerkraut, and I'm going to video it. People need to know how to do this. This is old school preservation, and we got to start healing our gut, and we got to start doing these sort of things. And so
Yeah.
that's how it started.
And
And
that,
I think my first well, I know my first videos were for holiday prep. So it was during the holidays. I think it was October, November when I started, you know, recording. And I launched my channel, I think, in December.
okay. And that we got a question up here.
Okay.
And you kind of answered it.
Oh, I did? Okay. I'm not keeping up with what's going on over here. I'm pretty nervous, and I'm just trying to focus on you, Charles, and not interrupt. I'm trying to not interrupt.
Oh
So
no, that's fine. have you got into any fermenting on your any of your videos and stuff?
Yes, I have. I've done fermented sauerkraut, and that's the one that I think people should start. You can ferment almost any vegetable, and pickles and sauerkraut are probably, I would say, the most popular. But yeah, I've got a couple videos out there on fermenting sauerkraut, and I hope to expand that because I think it's especially with the political climate right now, where people are now starting to understand that just because it's on the grocery store shelf doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy, or maybe it's not even safe for you.
Yeah.
And our bodies are not doing well. And
Yeah.
I think people are going to be very interested in fermented foods here very shortly.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while, I've talked about this before on the channel about like you can search the worst kind of snacks or the worst. Last time I did the cereal, and Captain Crunch is the worst because the dyes, they can, for kids it gives them HDI whatever
Yeah,
it is.
they can't concentrate or focus, or
and the warning area is at 20 million parts per whatever, and Captain Crunch, the berry one, is like 64, so it's like 40 over the danger level.
Right.
And I'm like, why is this on the shelf?
I know. Well, I hope that people start becoming accountable for that, because a lot of people think that if it's available in the grocery store, it must be okay.
Yeah.
The FDA has approved it, and so yes, I'm hoping it appears the climate is changing, and people are now understanding that healthy food, good, real, clean food is where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, this it'd be one heck of a movement, because you're going to have the major cities, they don't really care. But if everybody stops going and buying Captain Crunch all of a sudden, and the stock goes down, they have no other way to take out those colors and stuff and make a healthier cereal. Not to mention, the high fructose corn syrup is one of the worst things. I was looking at and this was just for fast food, the list of things that will disappear or have to be redone because of the bad stuff that's in them. And some of those things, the words are longer than my truck, are so really, really bad for you. And it's like, it's not, nobody cares. They'll go there and eat that fast food. And I've done it.
Yeah, I did too for years. And, really not knowing. And the thing about that, Charles, is I've always been pretty conscious of cooking from scratch and, growing a garden and knowing how my food was produced, and still, I partook in the fast. I don't anymore. I'll tell you that. It's seldom, because we don't feel good after we do it. I mean, physically, we don't feel good. So we try pretty hard to stay away from that. But our brains are like addicted to it. We've been eating this for years, and it's very difficult.
And like I was doing the carnivore thing for 30 days. They said that you'll start feeling changes and stuff. And oh yeah, my knees, the inflammation in my knees is gone, and so much.
Interesting.
It's and I know I want to eat like salads and stuff, but I'm kind of still sticking with it. And after I did the 30-day, I said, well, I'm only going to do I'll have one cheat meal a day or a week,
Uh-huh.
and then that should that should kind of do me for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has. I'm still on the carnivore diet, so
Mhm.
it's doing good.
So
And
what prompted you? Was it health reasons or?
yeah, I the one main benefit they said was um, it reduces your high blood pressure.
Oh. Hmm.
So that was my thinking. I was on. Well, I'm still am, but I'm thinking about getting off these pills, high blood pressure pills,
Right.
and I'm like, I still have the high blood pressure. Why am I taking this to lower it? I want to get rid of it.
Right.
And so that was the main benefit of it, was
Mhm.
to lower my blood pressure. So normally when I go in, because I don't like doctors anyway, so my blood pressure usually goes up a bit. So
Mhm.
it's usually 160, 170 ish, in that range. And when I went this last time, it was 117. And he
Wow.
he tried to talk me out of this so much. He said, "We got to do labs. Your numbers are going to be horrible. You know, it's a health risk, this and that." And I,
Mhm.
well, I feel better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you're going to the root of the problem. I read an article recently, and they said what's happening is that people are mopping up the floor while the sink is flowing over, because we're not, we're treating the symptoms and not figuring out what's causing it. And that old saying, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food," is real. And I love to see that this movement is coming back. And
Yeah.
I think our Secretary of Health and Human Services is going to make a big difference.
Yeah. It'd be nice to be able to have healthier food.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And I'm sure
Okay.
they're going to try to sneak in that, like the bioengineered ingredients that's in everything. Uh, but anyway, we got a question. What's your biggest homesteading challenge?
Okay, that's a good one. And it's probably not what you think. I am in my mid 60s, and John is in his mid 70s. And so it's safe to say we are beyond our prime. And I think our biggest challenge is managing our energy and our time, because we have lots of ideas and we have lots of projects we would like to tackle. But the reality is our body doesn't necessarily agree that we're going to do it that day, or even that season. So we have to be pretty careful, and there's a way to do it without overextending yourself every day, and then the next day you can't move, or you suffer for a week because you pushed through.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's probably our biggest homesteading challenge right now, is just managing our energy and our time, and a good balance of stewarding our bodies, I guess.
Yeah. Um, what was I going to ask? Do you have any uh, like future projects you have lined up? I know you're in the survival seed challenge.
Yeah, we're in the Survival Seeds 2025. I'm pretty excited about that. So I think I mentioned how we are in that frigid weather pattern right now, but I hope we're coming out of it. So yes, we're setting up our germination station, and we'll get those seeds started. And first thing we did when we moved in, that was the end of May. So that's when we normally would start planting our garden, and
Yeah.
we did get some stuff in, but we needed to get raised beds in, and we needed to get a greenhouse built, and that sort of thing. So we did that last summer. And so I have a new greenhouse, is what I'm saying. And I'm pretty excited
Yeah.
to the germination station. I start in the garage, because I can heat that small area in my germination station. And then as the temperatures modify, I can move them to the greenhouse. So, but we're hoping to get chickens. So I think that's our project for the summer, is to build a chicken coop. And well, I know that's our goal right now. And I guess.
Yeah, chickens is. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, you get eggs, you can get meat, and you also get fertilizer.
Exactly. And it's something I think John and I can handle at this stage. You know, we lost the opportunity of a milk cow and doing that sort of thing. That didn't quite work out for us, but that doesn't mean we can't do things on a little smaller scale that we can handle, you know, and chickens are perfect.
Here you go. Here's another one. What contribution does your channel offer someone that is looking to get into prepping?
Well, I hope that we inspire people to learn new skills. Over the years, I've learned how to make wine. I've learned how to make cheese. I've learned how to make sausage. I've perfected my way of gardening. And you can do all those things even in an apartment. You don't have to have an actual acreage and livestock to start being self-sufficient and taking responsibility for what you do with and put in and how you take care of your body. And you know, I hope if we can inspire that, then I think that's a day well spent. And we're not experts at any one thing. We're not claiming that, but we have learned things along the way, and it's possible we're going to do something that helps someone else. So you never know. And
yeah, that's like the survival seed collab thing. Just watching other people's videos and, oh wow, that looks like a good idea. You know,
yes,
maybe I'll try that.
Yes, I've been so inspired by what other YouTubers do, and yeah. I see a question here, Charles, that someone has asked if we use the dried out eggshells in our garden, and yes, we do. I just did the dehydrated egg video, and of course, I did like 10 dozen eggs, so I have a lot of eggshells, and I will be doing a video on how I handle those. But yes, we do put the dried eggshells in our garden, and I think they're a great benefit, calcium for your tomato plants and your pepper plants.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a video because I did this. Not last year, but the year before. And I still didn't have blossom end rot at any stage of my peppers or my tomatoes or anything like that still. But you get an old pan, or a cast iron pan, put it on a stove, and get your eggshells that you've saved, and you crunch them up real good, and you start cooking them on a medium heat until they turn brown.
Okay.
And then you pour them into a mason jar, a gallon one or something, depending how much you have. And then you pour some good quality vinegar in there, and it's going to go, it'll foam up because the activation of the calcium and stuff. And then you set that, you leave that set, and maybe 3 weeks or something like that. And then you strain off the eggs and stuff in there and keep it in a gallon jug or something. And it only takes like a capful, and you mix it with water, and you can spray it on or dump it on your soil or something. And it gives a humongous amount of calcium, so you don't get blossom end root or rot.
And it's immediate. If you put the eggshells directly, crushed into the ground, it can take years for that calcium to break down, for that plant to be able to use it. But if you do what you're talking about, and using an acid to break down that calcium and make it available to the plant right away, that's perfect.
Yeah, and it's I'm not sure if it's Korean. It's somewhere over in the Orient. They have like fermented plant juice that they make. Um,
Uh-huh.
I've been kind of doing a little bit of that. Um, one of the things, one of the things was, um, oh, this guy was using the blossoms of uh, banana trees because
Oh.
there's a flower
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
the banana trees, and he chopped these up, and he went away for a trip and didn't have time to get this because he was making fermented plant juice, and instead of doing that, he came back and it actually turned into alcohol.
That's funny.
And
That's funny.
he said it
Yeah.
was the best alcohol he
It
ever made.
made a good wine, huh?
Yeah, and it was banana flavored, so that was
Yeah.
real good.
Interesting.
Um,
That's
but
probably how a lot of things are developed is by accident.
yeah, and that's the thing. He said that he was because it's if you use the banana, or you can use banana peels or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the plant of the tree,
Right.
and you chop that up, and that's a great source of potassium for your garden. And that's what he was working at, but he ended up
With wine.
yeah.
That's pretty funny. Hmm.
And I'm
So,
some of that stuff is just so amazing how they make that stuff.
yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you. Is that allowed?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I obviously started watching your a lot of your videos after I got your invitation. I thought, okay, I got to get to know this guy on a little better level. And I noticed that your thumbnails and your graphics are so polished and very professional. And so, of course, I want to know: were you professionally trained, or did you just kind of learn this as you
I just learned it.
you
I
just learned it?
Yeah. If I need well, I've when I first started YouTube, um, my first channel blew up. In less than 2 weeks, I had 86,000 subscribers,
Holy cow!
and somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I'll make you an intro," and I've like, "Ooh, cool! That sounds wonderful." Um, 2 weeks later, my channel was taken away because he used copyrighted material, and at that time they didn't give strikes. There was no three strikes you're out type thing. It was
You're
you're
gone.
gone. So after that, I said, I even if somebody's nice and makes me something, I only make my own stuff. So that's when I started getting into it. And
Mm-hmm.
back then it was Photoshop. So I
Okay.
got to learn the layers and doing patterns and brushes and all that stuff to make that. Nowadays, you get Canva where you just move stuff over and
Mm-hmm.
does it for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because back in the day, we used to have to use the lasso tool to cut out somebody and then
Oh man.
remove the background. It would take
Right.
hours.
Right.
Now
Now you
you
just click the
click a
button,
button.
remove background. It's like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, still, there's still a lot of creativity that's going into what you're doing. And I mean, it shows. It
yeah.
definitely shows.
Sometimes I get lazy and just
Well,
pop up some font. But
yeah.
sometimes I'll look at some other channels and they don't even um, have text on there. It's just a picture of whatever YouTube puts up there,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
they get thousands of views.
Right. Right.
So it's hard to say.
You're right. And
Yeah,
I do think that our audiences kind of get used to our specific style and
yeah,
what we're doing. And um yeah.
yeah. And I've done a lot of research into um, YouTube because I used to do coding for YouTube way back in the
Oh.
day.
Oh.
So
But
I
you are
still have
lucky.
a lot of friends that still work for YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, they can't help me out most of the time, but um, they have access to statistics and stuff like this that YouTube won't put up
Uh-huh.
because, which I still don't understand. They do these little help videos and stuff and kind of help you along, but
Mhm.
a lot of this information is like they don't release it. Like,
I've noticed that, Charles, and I wonder if they want their content providers to just be sleuths and willing
yeah,
to keep digging and trying to figure out what's going to make this work. Because it seems like it would be easy to give content creators a little more information on how
mm-hmm,
to be successful, but there's nothing out there. It's trial and error, you
yeah,
know, and talking to each other, talking to other channels. And um, yeah, there's no, you can't go and buy a book and
yeah,
figure out
because
what
it
you need to do.
changes. By the
Yeah,
time the book is published, they change something.
right.
Like it used to be, um, tags were so important, and then we moved away from tags and put description. You fill out a good description, and
Uh-huh.
that's where we look at our searches, and then
Hmm.
it's the title. No, we need, then we put hashtags in the title, and then
Hmm.
it's
And then
like,
we got keywords.
yeah,
Then we got
yeah,
just tags, behind the scene tags. Yeah, there's a lot to it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
well,
there's the new thing that they came up with, is uh, the not description, but oh, the category. Where you
oh
have
yeah.
entertainment and how to and all that.
Hmm.
Um, that is big now. So if you do
Oh.
a how to and you put entertainment,
Hmm.
you're not gonna it won't go too far. But
Oh,
if you
well,
if
that's
you
good
look
to
in
know.
there and there's food and style or something like that,
Uh-huh.
it'll it'll raise the channel up, or it'll
Okay.
raise that view for
Right.
that category.
Well, yeah, a content provider wants their stuff going to the right people, and if they can't send it out to the right people, you're not gonna, you're not getting the views, and you're not getting the engagement. And
Yeah,
I want people on my channel that are interested in gardening and are interested in gut health and want to cook from scratch. And those are the people I want to find, because I
yeah.
learned from them. Just I've learned so much from my viewers. It's a two-way street.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've learned a lot from, you know just reading my own comments. I'll
Yeah.
come up with an idea for a video, and then, oh, that's a good idea.
That on that oatmeal bread recipe, one of my viewers made a comment and said, cinnamon and raisins. Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't you put a layer of that in there and have
Yeah, that
cinnamon
sounds
raisin
good
toast?
too.
It's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think, here, let me see. Yeah, Tasha asked, wonder what you think about grass-fed meat.
Oh, I love that idea. Personally, I think the grains are I look for grass-fed meat and buffalo and that sort of thing. Yes.
Yeah,
And
actually,
the problem with the
you got a
grains is
good
not
farm up
necessarily.
there for that too.
Yeah,
The bison, yeah.
yeah. I've got some in my freezer. I should probably do a video.
Oh yeah, that's some good
But
stuff.
I don't think the grains are necessarily. I'm not an expert on this, but with what I've learned, what I've read is that there's so much. The grains are like so modified. They're genetically modified, and there's lots
Yeah,
of. So, and that doesn't. I don't know. I look for grass fed and organic, and if I can afford it and it's available to me, that's what I want to use.
not to mention there, a lot of times the grain is sprayed too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
to keep its color and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
That's like when you go to McDonald's or something, they spray stuff on the French fry to keep it that color.
Mm.
So, and that stuff they spray is not good.
No, you know it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Now, a few years ago, they had this the feed for chickens. It made them not lay eggs anymore.
Yes.
And people started going to the supplier, the grain supplier, and they found out, wow, this is actually cheaper than going to Tractor Supply or whatever. And my chickens are laying more eggs than they ever have before.
Right.
Because
they changed the formula.
They put other stuff in that bag of feed as filler that doesn't have any nutrition for the whatever animal you're feeding.
Right.
And you know exactly what grain, if you mix the different kinds of grain and stuff, what they're getting.
Right.
And a lot of people started doing that.
Yeah.
And it's so much cheaper.
And you know, what also is interesting is that a lot of people ferment their chicken feed.
Yeah.
And their pig feed. And I mean, fermenting is not just good for people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And you get such a lot more out of it too.
Exactly. It's easier to digest, so your body can absorb it, can use it properly. It knows what to do with it. And I can? Yes, I do can.
Yeah.
I dehydrate, I ferment. Of course, I try to use as much fresh as I possibly can, but and I know that canning, you lose a certain amount of the nutrient and stuff, but I want to use my canned tomatoes versus what's on the grocery store shelf.
Exactly.
So, you know, yep, I can.
Yeah. Plus, there's a liner inside that can that you're actually getting with your tomatoes and your spaghetti sauce and stuff. And ooh.
Yeah, anything you can do yourself to know where that food has come from and how it's been handled, you are way above and far beyond the game.
Mm-hmm. And they like eating fresh vegetables in the wintertime from the grocery store. How many times? Well, it happens about every 3 or 4 times a month now. E. coli and listeria and all that stuff in the vegetables.
Right.
Because for some odd reason, they always have, a butcher place or where they keep the cows or the pigs right next to the farm.
Yeah, right.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And all that waste going down from the pigs and stuff, it won't go into the garden over there.
Right. Yeah. There's no runoff possibility. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guarantee if you're a young family and you have little kids and you give that kid a zucchini seed and a bucket of dirt and let that kid grow that plant and water it and feed it and watch it bloom and watch that zucchini grow.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets to harvest it and take it in the house and help you cook it. He will eat it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, kids love that. You're teaching them this is real food. This is what's good for you. And I really think it starts with the garden.
Except for Kayla.
Except for what?
Kayla. KK. Vineyard Chicks. She
oh, yeah.
She doesn't do zucchini.
Nothing to do with zucchini. Okay, well, she can do the broccoli then. Funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's all hand in hand, gut health and cooking from scratch and taking care of yourself. The garden, and I mean, it all is intertwined. And
Yeah. How would you advise someone that is on a fixed budget to eat healthy? Many
well,
folks are struggling today. Yeah,
it is.
it's
I
tough.
know, and I feel for that. It is a problem, but I feel like going to the produce department and buying a 5-pound bag of potatoes is going to be more cost effective than going to the prepackaged aisle and buying 3 packages of scallop potato mix that you add water to.
Yeah.
And you're going to have, well, the potatoes are going to go much further, and they're going to have way less ingredients in them. You're going to know how they're handled and made.
Yeah.
I know it's a struggle. The food prices these days. Growing a garden, even if you're in an apartment, you can grow herbs. You can have a pot out on your patio that has a zucchini plant or a tomato plant. Start small and do what you can with what you have at that time. You can increase your skill set. Learn to make cheese and learn how to. Sour cream and yogurt are so easy to make, and you can do it with commercial milk. That's not perfect, but it's better than buying sour cream and yogurt. But that's a pretty good example. And you're culturing it yourself. You've got wonderful probiotics. It's so much better for you. Yeah, I would say increase your skill set and start small.
Yeah, and hopefully things will change and open up a lot more for being able to purchase whole milk and stuff from farmers and stuff without them getting in trouble.
Well, we got Tom Massey on our side and we got JFK on our side, so maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you have never been to a farm and had cold milk out of that stainless steel drum,
right.
There's nothing better. I mean,
yep.
And nowadays, you're basically getting watered down milk with sawdust in it.
And all the good enzymes are gone. Everything good about that milk, it's dead. It's dead milk.
Yeah, it's just like the honey. They tell you when you get it at the store, this is good honey, but they cook it.
Yeah, and they thin it down, and they cut it with corn syrup. There's a lot of things that happen. Same as with like maple syrup. It's hard to get 100% maple syrup.
Yeah. Maple flavoring syrup.
Right. Hopefully we are on a new trend, and people are. I feel like there's a new awakening, and people now understand that their current chronic health problems can actually be solved and cured.
Yes, isn't local either.
Yes. Yes. It's a pretty exciting time, really. The Amish and people who homestead and have already known all this stuff are probably like going, "Yep, we told you so."
Yeah, but you guys ain't going to be selling the maple syrup to the United States anymore.
Yeah.
I wonder if they get in trouble for sending it to a friend in United States.
I hope not. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah. But we're getting close to the end here.
Yes.
Well, hopefully you're up over the 800 point.
I hope so. Well, this has been so fun. I've really enjoyed it, and it's really been an honor to be here. And I thank my subscribers for following me, and it's an honor to have subscribers to my channel, and I appreciate it. And I pray we all have a prosperous 2025 and happy and healthy, and we can inspire and encourage each other.
Yeah, especially when you're first starting out and you get those subscribers that keep coming back and watching your stuff over and over again.
Yep.
And it makes it feel worth, doing the videos and stuff.
Exactly. You look forward to getting them out there and seeing what the response is, and if you struck a nerve, if this is something that really interests people. And yes, there was one question here, Charles, I'm curious about too. Someone wants to know if you can start broccoli from a broccoli cutting. Do you know?
I don't know.
I don't think so, but I'm going to have to research that. That was a good question. I don't think so.
You may be able to start a plant, but it won't produce anything.
Yeah, that's probably
because it has to have a flower, because technically you're eating a flower.
Right. Yeah.
Well, part of it.
Yeah. Cool. Again, thank you, Charles. This has been really fun.
Oh, yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to add that or future plans for a series or anything you got coming up?
Well, I am going to do a series. In fact, I've got the playlist developed already for the vintage recipes, because I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Oh,
and I'm thinking I might even do a playlist on cooking with real food. Like, you're going to have your potato, you're going to have your starch and your protein and your vegetable, and we're going to start with real food. Yeah. Nothing prepacked. Yeah. I don't know if there'll be an interest for that or not, but maybe down the road.
There is, because like I said, when I go, they'll show a picture of food on the thumbnail. I'm like, ooh, that looks good. I'll start watching it, and they just came from the grocery store, and it's usually Walmart. The Walmart brands all over, and they don't even shred their cheese anymore. That stuff is.
There's some sawdust.
Yeah, that stuff is, because if you shred cheese, it sticks together. It's meant to stick together.
That's what it's supposed to do.
And when you have that stuff in the bag, it's just there's stuff in between those little things of cheese that makes them not stick.
Exactly.
You don't want to eat that.
Yeah.
They start dumping this can of this and this can of that, and it's like, we have a can of this soup, and it's like you're just counting the sodium, and it's not good sodium either.
No, and they actually are proud that they have a dump recipe. And as soon as I see dump recipe, I move on, because I know that's not gonna. It probably tastes great. You probably would like it, but it's really bad for you. Yeah. So anyway, I think I might do some more of this cooking with real food. And I must have 800 subs. Woo! Thank you, all of you subscribers. that's exciting. But gardening's coming up, Charles. I'm getting that germination station going, and we're going to do some. And I got a pizza oven for Christmas. Ooh. So we'll be cooking pizza out on the patio, and we'll be grilling. We'll still do a lot of cooking this summer, but it's about gardening.
Yeah. The pizza, I'm trying to perfect the pizza. Now it's all over TikTok, the carnivore pizza.
Oh.
But I'm trying to get a better crust, and it's with chicken. You make the crust with chicken and Parmesan cheese and eggs. And I'm leaning for more of you grind up the pork rinds.
Oh, yeah.
Mix that in there, and it's a lot more like crust.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to get the ratio good right now.
Okay, well, we'll stay tuned for your refined recipe. I look forward to that.
Is there any more questions before we end it? We got like 4 minutes.
Oh, yes. Nice to meet all of you, Charles. This is fun. I get to meet your subscribers and thank my subscribers. And so this has been really, I really thought it was going to be more difficult for me, but I really felt like we were just having a conversation. So
Yeah.
That made it very pleasurable.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't misspeak on anything. I'm sure if I did, we're going to hear about it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Does she have a cinnamon raisin bread recipe?
Well, I think I'm going to develop one out of that oatmeal bread recipe I just did.
Oh,
So
that
stay
bread
tuned.
looks really good.
Yeah, I think it'd be excellent.
The egg wash did a good thing right there because it looked real good.
Yeah, it made a nice crust.
Yeah,
and that recipe was so quick. I was surprised it only had one rise time.
Yeah, you only had to let it rise once.
Yeah, and it didn't have an overly yeasty flavor. It still was really, really good. So yes, we're going to do that cinnamon raisin bread.
Yeah, and not being able to have bread right now because the real challenge, which the challenge is going to go out the window when tomatoes come in, because I have to have tomato sandwiches in the summer.
Oh yeah. Do you toast the bread?
Sometimes. Sometimes I'm in a hurry and just slice that big tomato on there, because that's the good one when you get that big tomato.
Just one slice right in the center of the bread. Yep.
And then the next sandwich, you have to use the pieces. So, but that one big tomato slice on there.
Yeah, you and me both. I love a good tomato sandwich.
Thank you for coming to the interview and everything. And like I said, everybody, make sure you head over and check out her channel. And make sure you don't eat anything beforehand. That way you're guaranteed to subscribe, because once you start seeing some of that food, it's like, ooh.
Oh, thank you, Charles. Thank you so much for having me on here. Bless you.
Well, you're welcome. And I think tomorrow I will be back for Herb Wednesday. I've got a couple herbs I'm thinking about doing. So keep your eyes open for that. And we'll catch you on the next one. Everybody have a blessed week.
Bye now.